I don't know. I watch documentaries about spiders because I'm me. I watch documentaries about spiders, and I was watching this documentary where they were feeding spiders flies laced with LSD to see how altered their webs would be, because they were testing like drugs on spiders. It was fucking crazy. They were testing LSD on spiders to see what kind of webs they would draw if they were hallucinating. They wanted to see what kind of like things happened to their brains. So they feed these spiders flies laced with this LSD and increasing doses. They kept increasing the dosage. So the spiders start drawing like Mobius strips and little peace symbols, and finally, like unintentionally, totally unintentionally, they just do this. Like it was just spinning thicker like yarns of web, and then finally the spiders just spin like a just tight little ball of web in the corner of the cage, and they stand on the ball of web, and the spiders say, "I'm done with this experiment." They just don't react anymore. They just stand there and say, "I'm done." And they tested like increasing doses of like acid with the spiders. Same results. Just the same result for each spider. Only longer. And I thought, well, this experiment is pretty exceptional. Like like to see that spiders have independent thought, and it really made me a little frightened. But what I was even more impressed by was what a horrible trip those flies must be on. Like, what a horrible trip for these flies. Just because they can't draw a web, or they can't register in this experiment, doesn't mean they're not fucked up on this acid. And flies have 10,000 eyes, and that's terrible. Flies have 10,000 eyes, and if they're on acid, that's terrible. That's a bad start for flies. And then it gets stuck in a web. And a fly has never been stuck before. Flies are not known for being stuck. Flies have complete freedom. Flies are born with complete freedom. They have wings, and they eat shit all day, and they love it. Flies have complete freedom, and then they're on acid, and then they're stuck in a web. They're stuck and they can't move, and they're on acid. And they're flies. And then they get eaten by a spider. And then they get eaten by a spider while they're on acid. Can you imagine how horrible a trip it is for these flies? Horrible. Like, I've done 2 hits of acid at Disneyland, and I tripped out. I flipped out on Pirates of the Caribbean. All right, and I wasn't even on the ride. I was in line. I was staring at the restaurant, and that was it. They had to take me to a cot. I had to stay there for 4 hours until I could find my friends. Can you imagine all of that other shit happening? Like, if I was on any amount of acid and a giant spider was eating me, I'd just be thinking, oh, this can't be happening. It can't be why aren't these breathing exercises working? And I would just get eaten by a spider. Like, just die that way. Horribly. Sobering up. Just sobering up the entire time. Ugh. It'd be terrible. I just wanted to generate empathy for flies in that situation. I mean, I'm just saying, you know. Another thing for vegans to be concerned about. Like, how many insects are being killed by this farming? You have to think about these things too. You have to be totally conscious. Yeah, but a horrible trip for these flies. Yeah. Also, they tested other drugs on the spiders in this experiment, like as part of the film. You should look it up. It's actually pretty amazing. Like, they tested caffeine on the spiders, and they just drew really chaotic webs that wouldn't catch any flies. Like they were just like mosaics of like webs, and then they dosed these spiders with meth, and then the spiders realized they're covered in spider and flipped out. Yeah, that's what they did in this experiment. This is all true, right?